Before we get into this next episode of the Work Area Podcast, just need to give a shout out to all the sponsors that help me do this podcast and help me race every week. KRM Hot Shots, the crew that never stops so you don't have to. We specialise in express delivery of parts and products to the mining sector anywhere in Australia. Fast, reliable and on the road 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. When it needs to be there now, call KRM Hot Shots. Bunbury Toyota, family owned and operated since 1973. They've got new and used vehicles plus service and parts all in the one spot. Go and see the team at Bunbury Toyota for your next car, just like I did when I bought the Hilux. I saw John, had the car in a few weeks. Easy, easy, easy. Jolly Good Auto Electrics. If you need anything auto electrical, in-car, audio or entertainment, this is your one-stop shop. Go and see Trevor and the boys at 141B Grayson Highway in Bellevue. If you need a new stereo, Apple CarPlay or even a two-way, they'll sort you out. QV. These guys are the leaders in premium automotive electrical gear. Whether it's mining, off-road, 4x4, transport or marine, performance and quality is what they do. Check out the full range online at qv.com.au. That's qvee.com.au. Platinum Tiger Insurance. Specialise in insurance brokerage, claims management and risk service, and they tailor everything to suit you. Dylan Peninsula is with Platinum Tiger, and I honestly can't recommend him enough. He's my insurance broker, answers the call, goes above and beyond, and he's the best in the game. Find him online, Platinum Tiger Insurance, or come see me in the pits and I'll put you in touch with him. TPE Group, first sponsor to ever jump on board the podcast. Obviously wouldn't be here without him. Gives us the office, lets me come and go as I please. Ripper team. All Talk Engineering. Jared and the crew at All Talk are your one-stop shop for anything engine-related. Have a look around the pits. You'll see his sticker on heaps of cars. He helps a lot of people get out there on the track, so support him if you can. If you want to win, go see Jared and the team and get the All Talk edge. Just remember, all these guys actually help heaps of people out as well, not just me. So remember, support those who support the sport. Let's get into it. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Work Area Podcast. Massive episode lined up for tonight. We got a fair few guests calling in. We're on our little in-between studios before we try and get locked into a proper studio with maybe a one of these studio-type joints that do these podcasts. Yeah, Mikey Rimmer obviously does the track at the Motorplex. He's going to be coming on just to talk to us about all the stuff that he does. Obviously culminated with the 100 lapper on the weekend with the late models, which, yeah, I'm assuming there could have been something better, but realistically, you could not have done better than what Mikey did. And considering it's his first rip at it, I think it's an amazing job. We got Keenan Fleming, obviously won the speedcars on the weekend, swapped to a new chassis, second night out in it, and he goes bang. So, yeah, obviously the Lynx chassis is rolling around pretty good for him. Liam Spiccia is coming on, crew chief for the Dan Goldie Racing. Obviously, yeah, he spins the spanners on Caden Mander's car. Caden is out at dinner with his mum, so shout out to Mrs. Manders. Happy birthday. Stephen Ellement's coming on, and Beau Oldfield, the young gun, absolute ripper. He's been in a real good patch of form at the moment. Move forward in the 100 lapper, and yeah, he'll be coming on at the end, and we'll sort of try and deep dive a little bit with Beau. He's got a good head on his shoulders, and he knows what's what in the late models, so he'll help me navigate that and talk us through what it was like to actually drive one of those beasts for 100 laps. So just quickly before we do get on, obviously this is the Platinum Tiger Insurance sort of hot laps where we just sort of open it up and talk a little bit of turkey about some stuff. And I don't have any of the Wingos boys lined up, but yeah, we rolled out. I think it might be a record for the Motorplex on Friday night. 44 cars, typical Motorplex, mate. Epic track. It was done reasonably quick. Yeah, it was really good fun. Awesome track. I just was looking through the results, and that I'm the only one in the top 15 that went backwards. So probably not great for me, but everyone else in the top 15 actually moved forward positions. I'm the only one with a dash next to my name, but Blake Iwanow obviously come back after injury. It's his second race. He's a freak. Obviously, John McKenzie had it to him for a little bit, but yeah, had a few tricks up the sleeve after a couple of restarts and got to the front and probably wins regardless. But yeah, obviously Blake Iwanow, 2 from 2 to come back. Pretty ominous for the rest of the guys that would have been watching from the wingless standpoint with the title, obviously only in a couple of weeks' time, and yeah, he's unbeaten this season. He's only had 2 races. So Blake's a ripper, as talented as he is, drives hard. Brennan Wedge, really good result for Wedgie. Obviously, it's been quite ill to start the season and hasn't been in the seat as much as he has, but seeing he got the all clear. So, yeah, awesome news for him, and obviously had his young bloke up on the podium with him, which would have been pretty special. Tyler McCulkin, dirt kart kid, he come through for a third. He's starting to get some really good results there. Obviously went +9, good result. His first season in the wingless, coming from the dirt karts. Yeah, might not be making himself too many friends out there. He does drive a little bit how you go on every now and then, and a few people have had a chat to me. He drives like a dirt karter still, so might not be the best idea coming into the Aussie title to make any enemies, but he drives well and he drives forward, and I'm sure he'll get on top of that. Matty Iwanow, the cotton picker, he's come in and finished in 4th. Travis Armstrong, obviously really good. I've jumped in with a 6. Sharpie, Robbie Clark, really good result for Robbie. Brandon probably would have been hoping to be a little bit higher than what he was. Hayden Hicks, Blake Scary, Matty Fellows, Big Dog. Yeah, just a quick little update on that. Yeah, the boys are flying. Geez, you talk to people like Buddha Payet and stuff like that about the standard of the wingless now, considering he's probably the GOAT of the wingless division at this stage. I think he's got 5 state titles, and probably him and Hardigan with 2 WA boys. He's got 2 Aussie titles down, and Buddha's got 5 state titles. So, the standard Buddha was saying is just ridiculous, and sort of the top 15 cars are just incredible at the moment. So, get down to the Aussie title if you can at some stage. 360s, it was a bit of a mixed bag on the weekend. I think there was a fair few 410s, and I'm not really sure exactly who it went. Obviously, JD Dak, Cody Nash had the 410 in, and shout out to Cody. Did good on Saturday night, which we'll talk about, but didn't rock up to the podium, which I respect. He had the 410 in. Shorty Bradford, Ryan Farrell, Tom Hooper, Corey Hunter, all the boys. I rattled those offers off. This is one of the keenest I've been for an interview in a long time. We'll give him a call straight away, start the show off. He's the unsung hero of the Perth Motorplex, I feel like, and the guys.
How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Good. They're just saying the guys behind the fence obviously understand the work that you do to get that track Mickey Mouse every single week, mate. But I'm hoping that the general public and a wider audience can get a little bit of an insight from tonight to how important you are to actually make the Perth Motorplex be what it is, mate. So, first of all, congratulations on the weekend, mate. That was an epic result for you.
Yeah, thanks, mate. There's a lot of unknowns. I mean, we've never done a race longer than 40 laps when we've run the King of Wings and late model Australian title and stuff. So we didn't really know what was going to happen, but it turned out to be pretty good. The track was a little bit bottom dominant for the first half, but then the last 20 or so laps, the guys found the top and started making some moves, which was cool to watch.
Mate, how stressful is it just on a normal night for you? Obviously, the track's your job. Like, how much stress is involved watching the track develop through the night and just hoping that it plays out how you want it?
Depends how. Generally, after hot laps, I've got an idea of how we're going to go for the rest of the night. Once you see cars under power and kind of where they're running and how much dirt's flicking off and stuff like that. So generally by hot laps, it's either panic because we're in trouble, or sit back and kind of go, okay, this is good, this is what I want, and then just see how the night progresses. But it can be stressful, especially when there's so many unknowns like the weekend. Even though it was nice and cool, the cloud cover and it was windy, but not super windy. But cloud cover actually made it a bit harder because the track was just not absorbing water. It was just kind of sitting on top and not actually soaking through. So it actually made it a little bit challenging to kind of get the water into the track before the racing started. And kind of once sprint car qualifying was done, I knew we were going to have to do a bit of work throughout the course of the night because we were a little bit on the dry side too early.
What's your biggest enemy? Is it wind or sun?
Look, it depends. Wind is probably worse. I mean, 9 times out of 10, we've got a sea breeze sou'wester that blows over, and you can kind of deal with that because that comes off the ocean, so the air's got some moisture in it. But when we get desert easterlies, which is what we had basically from Wednesday until 3 o'clock Sunday arvo last week, the easterlies tend to pull the moisture out because there's such a dry wind.
Yeah, right.
So generally, when we get an easterly wind, we know we're up against it because it's just going to pull any sort of moisture out of the surface a lot quicker than a sou'wester would.
I heard Rico talk one time about watching the tides. Is that anything on your radar? Do you look at what the tides are doing at all?
No, not the tides. I know some guys do, but the tides are relevant, I think, to the dew point. I mean, I look at the dew point, which is relevant to the humidity, which that kind of gives you an idea of what the how the track's going to behave later once the sun goes down. So if it's a really high dew point, then you know that there's a chance that the track can come back later on because there's a lot of moisture in the air. Whereas when you've got a really low dew point, then you know that it's just going to stay slick. If it goes slick, it's going to stay slick, or if it's heavy, it's generally going to go slick later on. So that's what I'm looking at. But again, I'm not a weather expert, but I think the tides and the dew point are linked together.
Is it the 100-lap race, is that sort of just with the unknowns and stuff, is that one of the more stressful events that you've ever, curated for or prepped the
Yeah.
track for?
Yes and no. Probably in recent times it is. I think there's been a couple. Obviously, when we run the Australian title back in 23 for the sprint cars, there was a bit of stress there as well because it's such a big event. And then obviously when we ran the first high limit show, well, yeah, a bit over a year ago now, because that was the first time we'd run a 3-day back-to-back show. So then there's unknowns in that as well. So we run plenty of 2-day shows, but then when you add a third day on, there was a bit of unknown going into the third day as to whether we'd have moisture in the track or not. So, but yeah, the weekend just gone was probably one of the more stressful ones we've had for a while, from my point of view, because I knew we were in a bit of trouble after hot laps because we were a lot slicker than I would have liked while the sun was still up. I knew the moisture was in the track. There's no issues there, but yeah, just we were slick too early, so we obviously had to work it a few times throughout the night. Got to the result we wanted to, but just had to work a bit harder than we would have liked.
With that, I know there could have been like percentages better, but realistically, could you have got that track any better? Like for me, I just thought it raced phenomenal for your first attempt, for 100 laps, for different tyres that the late models would have never run before. Like realistically, I just don't think a better track could have been prepared for. What's your viewpoint on that?
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. I mean, it was it was bottom dominant for the first half, but also guys are conserving and they're not going to go pound the fence now for 100 laps, so that was kind of expected with a long race too. But I think with when the top kind of started to get used and the guys were running it, that's pretty much what what you can ask for in a race like that, where you've got guys running the fence and being able to pass other cars and move around. So yeah, and the track to last 100 laps and guys to get 100 laps out of their tyres, and the tyres after that race I think still could do another feature race because they weren't worn out. So that's always a tick to be able to do that without smoking tyres off cars.
Like, say you get this race again next year. Like, can you ever prep the track the same? Like every race is different. There's different weather conditions leading up to it. What's going on track? You can't ever like, oh, okay, I'll just rip it 100 mil, put 100 mils of water on it, and that's it done. Like, is there any prep that's ever the same, or is it always different?
It's generally always different. I mean, we have a process because there's so many variable factors in track prep. So you've got the wind, you've got the weather, and you've got the divisions racing, you've got the car counts that night, you've got sometimes we start at 4 o'clock, sometimes we start at 5 o'clock. So there's so many different factors that go into what happens on a night. So we try and keep a process for what we do to get at early in the day, the way we open the track up and get the water and stuff like that. That's all pretty well the same process. So that way you're keeping as much as you can the same, and then you just adapting kind of to what the weather is that day. But short answer is no. It's not. It's never going to be the same 2 nights in a row because where we are, we've never really got the same weather every time, and we don't run the same classes every time either. So each class affects the track differently, and then you've got car counts, which obviously more cars or less cars, more cars wear it out quicker and less don't. So yeah, everything there's so many differences with every event that we run.
What's your eye like looking at the track? Like, say before the 100 lapper, did the track like come back like you thought it would, or did it surprise you?
I mean, we kind of already had a game plan that we were going to do some work before the 100 laps because we knew that 100 laps is a lot of laps, and we wanted to make sure that we didn't have a follow the leader rubber down procession at the end of it, because that just would have been no good for anyone. So we kind of had a game plan that we're going to do some track work before that feature pretty well, regardless of what it was looking like, because even if the way the track was after the sprint cars, if that was a 30 lap late model race, we probably would have let it go, because there was 30 laps in that easily, and it would have been slick by the end and no worries, but there wasn't 100 laps in it. So yeah, we just did that to make sure that we had a top and a bottom groove before the 100 laps, and it worked. So yeah, the guys could run kind of wherever, and with the bottom groove, it throws some material through to the middle as well, and then the guys can start running through the middle.
No, it's just phenomenal that from lap 90 to 100, there was a bottom. Warren was like running the middle, and the cashier was running the top in the last 10 laps of a 100 lap late model feature race. And the drone footage from above, I'm not sure if you've watched Clay Per View back, but you can just see how much dirt was left in the track. And yeah, I just thought it was just a phenomenal effort. Did you ring anyone for advice over in America that run these laps, or did you just wing it and sort of back yourself in to get it right?
No, it's hard because every track's different, so it's not really something that you can cross over from other tracks. Like I know the Motorplex dirt well, so I know how it's going to behave most of the time, and it's just about what we have learnt from other races. Like when we've run Australian titles for late models and we've had 40 lappers with late models, we know kind of what they do, because a late model versus a sprint car does two different things. You know, a sprint car will pull a lot more moisture out and slick a track off a lot quicker than what a late model can. So it's just about kind of past experiences and then adapting that to more laps, really.
What's your like a week look like for you? Say, so grand final is obviously the next race that you've got to get the track ready for. How early do you start that?
So we've got an autocross, which is like a bit of a rallycross thing on Wednesday. So we'll get that out of the way first, and then Thursday I'll grade the track down. So at the moment the track's just basically as it was from the weekend. We've done all the cleanup and stuff. So the guys have blown all the dirt back onto the track and things like that. So Thursday I'll grade the track, and then I'll come in on Sunday and start watering. So basically from Sunday to Saturday, it's getting watered or worked every day in the lead up. So it's, yeah. And then obviously we've got the Wednesday practice as well. So
Do those rallycross use the speedway track?
yeah, they use the bike track mainly. They use the straights of the car track. They just kind of drive around tyre bundles. It's just a bit of a thing that they do, I think 6 or 7 times a year on a Wednesday night when we don't have practice on.
What's the best track that you've prepped? Like, is there one track that you just thought that's the best I've ever done?
There's a couple. I mean, the sprint car muster, what was it, 3 or 4 years ago, where Rico and Brad and Callum were sliding each other.
Yep.
You know, that was kind of the race that obviously put the Motorplex in the public eye a lot more when that footage went out. So that was obviously pretty cool. And then another one that comes to mind is, I don't know what year it was, but there was a sprint car nationals, maybe 2, maybe 3 years ago, where it was like 40 degrees for 3 days. Like the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it was like all above 40 degrees, and the Friday and Saturday nights, we managed to go through the entire night without working the track, and come the feature time on Saturday, you had Jock and Lockie racing each other, one on the pole line, one on the fence. So that was pretty cool to be able to achieve that with the temperatures and conditions we had that week as well. There's others along the way, but yeah, they're the ones that pop to mind straight away.
Well, there's just no bad tracks. Like, there's different tracks, but I'd struggle to recall really a bad track. Like, yeah, I just think even sometimes when they get rubber once a year, I feel like you need all sorts of different tracks. Like, yeah, I think what you do is a phenomenal job. I know you're massively respected, not just in our pits, mate, but in the pits across the country. And yeah, I feel like, yeah, real tip of the cap to yourself for the track, and obviously the Motorplex. Obviously have had criticisms throughout the year, not many, I hope, but yeah, I feel like it just really goes to show that what the Motorplex do is clearly leading the country and potentially the world in speedway, mate. So yeah, I'm stoked that it worked out for you. Yeah, massive sigh of relief.
Yeah, we're pleased, you know, and it's something we can build on next year, and hopefully we can do it again and put on another good show. But yeah, it's just cool to cool to have the facility that we do, and back on what you said with it not racing bad, it's just a track that it has a shape to it that it just promotes good racing, kind of not totally regardless, but sometimes if it does go rubber down, even it very rarely is a a one line track kind of thing. There's always a couple of grooves there, which is testament to the design of the place. 26 years ago now, which helps it to do that, no matter kind of how it develops through the night.
Mate, before I let you go, besides the Motorplex, what's your favourite track?
Well, I mean, the Motorplex is obviously my favourite, but I just enjoy watching any racetrack that's got multiple lines. You know, Toowoomba obviously do a good job with that. Warrnambool do a really good job now. Now with their new surface, where you got a couple of lines going. I just think there's nothing worse than watching a racetrack where everyone's just putting around the curb. That's just boring.
Yeah.
Definitely. So any tracks that have got a couple of grooves going are cool. Yeah, in Australia, like your Toowoomba's or your Premier Speedway. Over in America, like I haven't been there yet. I'm going there this year, but somewhere like Eldora, the racing from there is pretty spectacular. When the guys are moving at the speeds they are, and how wide that joint is, that's pretty cool to watch racing at. And Knoxville, which is where I learned a bit of my craft when I started. That's a cool place to watch racing at too.
Mate, the final thing before I go, I'm sure you remember, one of the most impressive things I've ever seen at the Motorplex is you and a little BMX bike with flat tyres one night. You remember?
Yeah.
You remember going down those stairs?
Yeah. There's I'm not going to say I'm the only one that's tried that, but yeah,
talented, very talented.
got to have a bit of fun.
Done, mate. Thanks for the call. Yeah, just I don't know. I couldn't sing your praises highly enough, mate. You do a ripper job out there, and the sport's lucky to have you.
Nah, thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
Cheers. See you out there.
Cheers, Kurt. See you, mate.
Mikey Rimmer, absolute legend. Oh yeah, just really. I don't know what else. Kissed on the dick is what sort of comes to mind with the Motorplex and the track that we get, and like just from the wingless side of view, like I've sort of had my sooks about when we go out and stuff, but we don't burn tyres up. We don't touch tyres there. Like we're an entry level class, and if we were chewing up tyres more often than what we do, we wouldn't even have a division. We got 44 on the weekend, and I know for me, I can get 4 nights out of a set of tyres that I grab second hand off the Crickies or whoever I get my tyres off. Like I can run 4 full nights on a set because Mikey and the guys do such a ripper job prepping it up there. We'll probably just roll straight into our next interview that I've got lined up. Obviously, Keenan Fleming, one in the new link. He's a ripper fella. Yeah, he's been on the pod before. He came on with Caden. We'll call him up. And I guess we just want to talk through the speedcars on the weekend and sort of his thoughts on the new car. But hopefully he answers. Sorry about the phone calls as well. I don't know how to not have the ringtone, but we'll figure it out. You there, Craigers?
What's going on, mate?
Not much, mate. How are you?
Not too bad, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, cruising, mate. It's not the dinner out, mate. Kids are watching a movie, staying quiet, and Dad's doing a podcast, mate. So, congratulations on the win, mate. I guess first and foremost, obviously the most obvious thing with it is a switch to a link chassis. Talk us through that.
Yeah, so we've been doing our own deal for a couple of years now, and it's had its moments where it's pretty good, and then there's been a lot of nights where I just can't really figure out what's going on with it. And basically, after we went over east, I really struggled hard with the car over there, and got talking to Robbo, and he was kind enough to say, look, I've got a car here that I drove, and you can take it and have a run in it, and if you like it, you can buy it, and if not, you can give it back, and yeah, so here we are, and yeah, had a real good run in it on Saturday, and yeah, just straight out of the box, just super comfy. I mean, that was the main thing of it, was I just 100% confident, just could back myself behind the wheel and just get after it, basically.
Is that the first time you've swapped chassis?
In a long time, yeah.
And a real noticeable difference, was it?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's these days, with midgets, there's not a great deal of difference in cars. I mean, obviously there's a lot of different chassis out there with their own pickup points and whatnot and bar work, but I think at the end of it they're all very similar at the end of these days, and I just I was super happy with it. I mean, I drove a Spike for my first 4 seasons of my career. Then we ended up getting a King chassis for a season, and we wanted to buy a brand new King, and that didn't really work out. But yeah, then Dad went and did his own design. Obviously, I'm a bit of a taller bloke, so it's a bit hard to get me in a car, even a tall cage. And the car that he built was a 56-inch frame, which is 2 inches taller than an already a tall cage car. So, and we've been doing that deal for probably 4 seasons now. So it's been a long time since I've been in a factory kind of car. But yeah, just super happy with it.
And that's so moving forward, you feel like this is a switch that's going to be permanent, and it's like something you can really work on?
I honestly, there's not much to work on at all. I mean, we had a setup given to us straight out the box, and we just tweaked on it kind of from there, and it was just it just felt super fast out the gate. You can't really ask for much more than that. But yeah, I personally, I think this is definitely a good way to go. I mean, it's these guys like Keith Coons, this is his day in day out job. This is what he does. Like it's pretty hard to beat. You know what I mean? And it's just available there for us to go and buy off the shelf.
Mate, it looked phenomenal. Like I feel like you're almost beat Buddha at what he's sort of best at, is sort of ripping the top that hard, and you got around him and you're gone. Like, so I feel like that's sort of the benchmark, because I was standing next to Todd Woodell at the time, and I thought, well, if Tom trusts his car, we're going to find out right now, because if he's not fast on a track like this, he probably won't ever be. And he was ripping, and you sort of come up to him and got to him. But were you pretty confident and happy with how the feature race panned out?
I mean, honestly, if you want me to be completely honest with you, when Buddha, like at the start of the race, I had a terrible start. Jake got the better jump on me, and then he come straight to the top and cut me off. And then like I kind of just got bottled up, and I was like back in 5th, and then I just dropped to the bottom on the back straight and cut down and slid him and Rowie. And then by the time I did that, I already seen Buddha was almost at the end of the straight. I was like, shit, I've got to do something here. And like I was obviously just pushing 100%, and like I felt like I was not gaining on him one bit. I was like, no, this is done. Like when Buddha's in that mode, like when the track's like that, he's very hard to beat. And like on Saturday was the first time I've actually beaten Buddha fair and square, like in those terms. Like that was. I felt like I got a bit lucky when we got to traffic, because he got. I watched it back, and like when he got to the traffic, he kind of got away from just sailing the top, and he had to kind of try and slide a bit, and it just kind of ruined his momentum. And I was able to close the gap, and then once he got to, I think he got together with Corey, and he went full sideways.
Yeah.
And when he stopped, because I spoke to him after, and when he stopped, I thought he had a problem. That's why I stayed behind him, or I would have went under him. And I was like, oh, he's going to pull off. And then he just got going, and I was like, you prick. Like,
I thought it was going to be a yellow.
Well, I didn't know. I thought he was just going to pull off, because when someone slows like that, you think, oh, he's got a problem. So I just stayed behind him, and I thought I'll just keep going around the top. And then he just got going, and I was like, you bastard. Like, but then when I got to him and we were through the traffic, I thought, I definitely think I can get him here as long as I hit my marks. I definitely knew towards the end of the race that my car felt quicker. I think I had better tyres in the end.
Yep.
I seen his tyres after the race. Those Americans were pretty shot to bit. Like I think my tyres were probably definitely a lot better in the end. But it did make me think, like, if he was in, nothing against Jones or anything, but like if he was in the 7K, car he'd been running for so long and was so comfortable in, whether that would have made a difference or not, I'm not sure. But it definitely was a good feeling to get past him and beat him. Sure.
Mate, just with that, that's as bad as I've ever seen lappers in my life. Like,
yeah, it was. I honestly thought for a minute we were both going to eat it. I was like, this is just like, it was lucky enough. We've both got enough experience to how much difference the speed is between us and these guys. Predict our slide jobs and to know how much we've got to back off and not run into the back of them. It was definitely pretty wild, especially though I think it was like lap 5 or 6, and we were both just like we didn't know where to go. Like
the lappers were getting the blue flag, so you're going to get lapped. 2 of them were running a slider line. It's like, if you're getting lapped, do not slide yourself.
They come off the corner and they'd be like the same pace as us, and then they get in the corner and they just slide over the track. It's like, oh boy,
that was some wild stuff going on out there. Like, you guys
it made a good race, I guess. But yeah, it was definitely wild. So lucky myself and Buddha, we had enough experience between us to not hit each other and take each other out in that process, I guess.
Are you learning to be like not calculated, but just let the race come to you a little bit? Like, my take from afar, I'm not racing in the speed cars, is that there's sort of a top 3 or 4. Phil Rowie, when Rowie runs, he's the 4th, but it's you, Buddha, and Jake Robbo at the moment. Like, you sort of 4, and regardless of where you start, that's the field. So, like, you've got to let the race come to you because all your competitors are right with you every single night. Like, I guess if I was to look at the sprint cars, like, the big dogs can come out of 12, but the top 4 in the speed cars are never out of 12. They're always 4, 5, 6. Like, do you have to sort of pace yourself in these races now, knowing everyone's right there?
It's a good question. I mean, I think at the end of the day, I could be wrong even with like sprint cars, but I think every driver's a driver. I think once they get to a stage, they don't really improve anymore or get any worse. It's just a matter of if you've got the car under you on the night, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And that's what I feel like I had Saturday. I had a car where I was able to, give it my 100%. And that, I think that can make the difference, like, obviously, us faster guys in the speed cars are up the front. We can move forward in the heats, and I feel like it's probably a bit harder in a sprint car to do that. And obviously, I think the competition level is a bit different too. I think there's a lot more faster guys in the field.
Does it make you excited now, mate? Obviously having this package and getting a win, are you excited even though there's only one race to go, or you're sort of like hunting for more races?
Oh, mate, I wish. It's hard to say. I can sit here and wish and want, but I wish. Yeah, I did wish I had this kind of a deal earlier. It just it's just given me my full confidence back to put the car where it needs to be to push hard and be able to battle and have these good races. It was a really good night for me on Saturday, and once you got your confidence back there, you just got to keep pegging and keep it up there. That's all there is to it.
Mate, with that, you obviously won. Did you get to stay out there for the sprint car feature, or did you come back in?
I come back in, but I did watch.
Yeah,
I did watch. It was a good race.
How wild did you get for your man?
Caden.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was cool. Caden's a guy that works super hard. Not only at the shop on a race car, but on himself. He gyms.
Yeah, I was going to say, he actually looks jacked. Like, he looks like he's strong.
He is strong, mate. He gyms, he runs, he looks after himself super well. He puts himself in the best position that he can be, and I think that really showed last night. When him and the DGR team, like Liam, when they're clicking and they've got their stuff together, they're a force to be reckoned with. And it did show. I was getting a little bit nervy at the end because Cal Willow was coming up behind him hard, but couldn't have done any better the way he slid himself in front of Pridey there and just put that gap between them. But yeah, I'm really happy for his result for sure. He definitely deserved that.
Mate, I was going to have him on as well, and I was going to call him up while I was on the phone to you, and trying to get a bit of banter about his mum's birthday. So shout out to Mrs. Manders. I said at the start, it's her birthday, and he's out at dinner with her. But congratulations on the win, mate. Yeah, well done as well for obviously making the shift. Like, I know it's Link and Robbo's a mate, but it must be a little bit daunting to actually switch chassis, to actually make the decision to actually pull the trigger and do it. So well done for having the balls to do that.
Yes, I mean, if it was earlier on in my career, it definitely would have like, I would have been, shitting a bit if you put it, but like, I guess I was nervous, but I wasn't too bad at the end of the day. Once I'd done like, a couple of laps in it, it's like you feel what the car's going to do, where its limits are, and then you can just go on from there, But yeah, super happy, like really impressed with it.
Sweet.
Sure.
Oh, well, congrats again, mate. We'll let you cut loose. What are you doing for dinner tonight? You cooking or are you going out?
No, this is maybe some butter chicken. I had it about 10 minutes before you called, so I'm all full over here.
Perfect, mate. All right, enjoy your night. Thanks for the call. Yeah, we'll see you down there.
Thanks, Kurt.
See you, bud.
No worries, mate. See ya.
Keenan Fleming, pilot of the 26. He's like we spoke about, jumped over to the link, and he won on his second night in the link. I think Rowie made the move to links as well, and he won on his second night in the link. So clearly something there with them, and yeah, a wicked result for a ripper fella. Obviously second, Graham Jones Racing, Tom Payette. Obviously, yeah, we just sort of spoke about his race, and obviously batting away with Keenan. He did get bottled up pretty bad with the lappers in the speed cars. I'm not exactly sure what some of the thought processes were there with the lappers. You can go back and watch it, but you get the blue flag. It's hold your line, and I don't reckon sliding yourself all over the track when you're getting lapped is probably the right move there. So yeah, it potentially, and you could definitely argue that Buddha, was cost the race from a lapper sort of trying to slide himself and keep his own race going. But yeah, unlucky for Buddha. Jake Robbo obviously owns Link Chassis Australia and put Keenan in the car, wondering if he was regretting that decision halfway through that race when Keenan was driving away from him. But yeah, ripper drive for him. Probably locks up the series now, the track championship. He won the Esslinger. Robert's had a cracking year and yeah, put himself in some good spots the whole time. Rob Golding, Old Quantum Collective. Yeah, still haven't got the email done, but we will. He's a ripper. He's been in really good form lately as well. Rob, I think 2 podiums and now a 4th. He's improving and he's getting his car ready to go, I reckon. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts battling. He becomes the 4th or 5th car into that front sort of pack. Bailey Nash, first night out, had a horrendous start to the night and didn't make it out for qualifying or anything like that. But these Nash boys, mate, they can drive. He's obviously not even qualified, rolled out for his first heat and first drive in the first race in the Lee Redmond 52 and brings it up to 5th on his first night. So it's a wicked result for him. Alfonso Guadagnino, my favourite name in Speedway, 6th. Mitch Harris, 7th. Corey Smith, Lockie Marshall, yeah, really good race. Man, the Carnarvon Comet, the Rose Show, a DNF, and hopefully not a massive issue for him with what he's going on. And yeah, obviously been a year that the big fella wants to regret. I think 11 starts and 10 DNFs due to circumstances outside his control. He's not crashed out of any of them. Yeah, it's all sort of been issues with the car. So yeah, the Rose Show surely bounces back, and yeah, probably didn't help that I gave him an absolute tune up on Friday night as well. So he'll be licking his wounds up there in Donga in those bushfires. So unlucky. All right, our next guest, he was meant to be on last week, but he was travelling back from the Australian Formula 500 title, perennial contender, a legend of a bloke, and I think I'll have to ask him, but I'm pretty confident Stevens won the most feature races at the Motorplex. And here he is. How are you, mate?
Yeah, mate. Good, yourself?
Good. Just back from the wild side, eh?
Yeah, straight off the site, mate. Just back into the room now. So first day back after 6.5 weeks off, I think it was. So
brutal.
Just loving it.
Little back to reality moment this morning, was there?
Yeah, the 4 a.m. wake up soon sends you back to reality.
Mate, is it true? You've won the most feature races at the Motorplex? Is that correct?
Yes, overall
It is. I'm not sure. I think the number is around 45 or 46 or something at the moment. But yeah, it did. It snuck up on us there for a little bit. We sort of didn't really know where we were at, and then the Motorplex and I think a few of the team down there started, I guess, keeping up on a few of the stats, and then it sort of become a bit more public knowledge, I guess, and got out there. But certainly haven't really added to that tally this year, but we'll keep giving it a go.
Mate, yeah, obviously, how's your season been so far from your perspective? Like, are you happy with it, not happy with it? How would you assess it so far? I know there's probably only one more race, but give us your sort of thoughts.
Yeah, 50-50, mate. Like for us, I think like on one side, like to our sort of previous years and things, probably hasn't been a great year. We've sort of been caught up in a bit of mess and that during the year in other people's mess more often than not, and sort of torn up a bit of gear, and then unfortunately hurt a motor when we went to Albany and stuff as well. So it hasn't been great. But then on the flip side of that, if we weren't sort of too harsh on ourselves, like it was a brand new car and stuff that we rolled out this year as well, in different brand and things as well. So that's taken a little bit of time for us to get up to speed, and Motorplex isn't really the ideal place, I think. I mean, for that, because you only sort of have to be 1% off and you'll sort of really get shown up, I think, around there. So, it's all right. We'll just keep working on it. And, we got another run there on the 28th. And then we'll come back there again for the Wingo title and run the 2 nights there as well. So that should be good.
With that, mate, is the margin for error in the Formula 500s at the Motorplex, do you think that's the smallest in terms of driving and car setup? Is that the tightest sort of racing there is for being smooth and car setup?
Yeah, I think typically when sort of like whenever anyone's asked me, I sort of say it's sort of, I'd imagine it's like a feeling of running a Daytona 500 for formulas around the Motorplex. It's just typically flat out, as straight as possible, and just find the best part of the track as quick as you can and just sort of try and make some ground. And then I think just given the track size and width and how it's been built, there's just no way for any defense for us either. So, typically, I guess on a smaller tracks, you can sort of make up for the car a little bit and hold your line or things like that. But even at the Motorplex, it's just too wide, I think. So, when you're not fast enough, it just shows up.
We're chatting here with Steve at Ellement, obviously, the most feature race wins at the Motorplex and probably one of the most decorated drivers that we have in Western Australia. Mate, you went over to the Australian title this year for the Formula 500s. How was that event?
Had its ups and downs for us again, but more ups than the downs, which were good. We sort of went over there on a pretty big trip. I left in total, we were over there for about 3.5 weeks from when we left. And then, we first rolled into Tolma to run for South Australian state title, which was really good, and ran third there, down to Mount Gambier the night after for one of their
Sorry,
state
just
rounds.
quickly, Steve, what's Tolma like? Is it as good as they sort of advertise?
Yeah, I think the videos and like watching on TV just doesn't do it justice until you're sort of standing at the pit gate and you just you look out there and the banking and the design of the track. It sort of just blows your mind a little bit. Yeah, it just doesn't do it justice. I even try to send like a couple of things back to, I guess, the guys back in Perth and things, but you still just can't put it into perspective with the banking and just the track.
Is it fun to drive then?
It was decent through our heat racing, not too bad all round, although for the feature I think they sort of over-prepped it a little bit and just made the bottom too fast. They sort of just got ripped up the bottom half of the track. And I mean, the top was right up the top was probably good for only for a lap or so, similar to the Motorplex, and made up a few spots, and then everyone sort of just dropped into the bottom once it cleaned off and got going.
So what? Sorry, I jumped in a little bit there. I have a little thing for Tolma. But so, how did the rest of the trip shape up after Tolma?
Yeah, it was good. So the night after, we drove down to Mount Gambier and ran there, which never raced there before. So we didn't have huge expectations. It was more so just around just getting some laps in and taking the pressure off practice when it came to the Aussie title a couple of weeks later. So we just got in there and had a pretty good run through our heat races, and then moved forward in the feature. Finished second. I think there was 41 or 43 cars or something, and managed to finish second. Gained a couple of those spots by luck, really, with the Terry that just won the Aussie title. He unfortunately got taken out with a lap car and things, but I think, we were at least the top 3 car there regardless, which was really good. And then, we were meant to race the weekend after back at Murray Bridge, but I got washed out before the Aussie title.
Did you really set yourself for this Aussie title? Is it like, I know you like the trailer and the car and all that's new. Is the Aussie title, was that sort of the grand final for you this year?
Yeah, we've had our minds set on that. Obviously, these trips you can't plan sort of overnight, so we had our minds set on it for quite some time on how we were going to get over there, and then just so happened that the other rounds and things the weeks before were there as well. So we thought it'd be a good opportunity just to make the most of the trip and get over there and do as much as we could. The round at Mount Gambier obviously was pretty helpful as well. So it was important that we got that one in before the title. And then, like I say, when it come to practice at the Aussie title, we could then sort of go away from our base setup that we've sort of been working off and try some different things and see if we could improve or be worse, or just understand what was going on with the car and then go from there.
Is it a massive difference in setup between, say, the Motorplex and Mount Gambier?
I don't. From where we sort of been running at the Motorplex to where we finished up at Mount Gambier is pretty similar, to be honest. We ended up changing some torsion bars and just some typical stuff with torsion bars and wheel offsets and stagger and things, but nothing, I don't think nothing too drastic.
So you heard it, engine night one. What's your mindset waking up the day of the actual title? Like, you think you can do anything? Like, where's your head at?
I think we had a really good run through the first couple of heats on night one and managed to, I think we were sitting third on points, which put us off the front of our prelim because they split the field. So we thought we were in with a decent shot, we had some good car speed, and then it was only I think 3 or 4 laps in, we heard a motor into that prelim, so we went from third on points to 21st or 22nd, I think it was, after night one. So just coming into night two, we just sort of made sure everything was prepped up as normal, just went over, made sure everything was right, and just waited for bill draw really, and it wasn't too bad. We drew rear on our first heat from 11 and got up to 4th, and then so that sort of brings a bit of confidence and start back into it, and then finished second in the next heat and managed to claw back some points to start 14th in the final.
Talk us through the final. I know the track had a little bit of ruts and it was a bit tricky. Like, what was the game plan going in, and how did you execute?
Really just with our car, with the motor change, we sort of changed the car up a little bit, sort of with a mindset of maybe I'm not going to be able to sort of just rip right around the wall the track had gone. So we sort of tried to make the bottom work as best as possible and for as long as possible, which was pretty tricky because it was fairly slick down there. But made quite a bit of ground up for the most part of the race, and a few opportunities come along and had some good races with a few of the drivers, I guess, along the way as we made up some spots. And then I think only with about 4 or 5 laps to go, we had to get to the top. The bottom had worn out too much and just had to get to the top. And then we made one more spot. But I think that's about the best we could have done, unless we started further up in the feature race and had some better track position. I think that's about best we could have done. At one stage, we were sort of sliding for second there, but unfortunately, there's some contact with one of the drivers over there. We both knew it was an Aussie title, and had a bit of a laugh about it afterwards because he just said, he's seen me coming, but he goes, I'm just it's an Aussie title, I'm not lifting.
Fair enough.
and I wasn't doing the same. So, but it was all good. Yeah, we had a laugh afterwards, and ended up finishing on the podium as well. So that was good.
So 14th to 5 in the Aussie title, like you said, realistically, is that sort of as good as you could have done?
I think going over there before the meeting in general, like just when you got a field of 75 cars, like for an Aussie title, I think just getting into the A main is the big step to start with. And then, if you had told me at the start of the weekend that we were going to run like in the top 5 and things like that, you'd almost take it. But it's good result in being able to go forward so far in the feature, but then also maybe what could have been if we had like a little bit more track position earlier up in the feature.
What's your favourite track for a Formula then in Australia, mate? What's the best racing track?
Oh, we've had some good ones across a few sort of tracks, but I think Lang in Victoria was always pretty fun. I think they changed the surface these days, so it might be a bit different, but that's only I think 280 meters or something.
Yeah, right.
So that's only pretty tiny. It's only just out of Warrnambool. So that was good fun back then. But I mean, I think majority of tracks on their night that provide the right track surface, they can all be pretty fun. And then going after like the Aussie title last weekend, the way the track went in the final, it's not very often you see, I guess, like a big field of formulas running around the wall for the most part. So I think even that one changed my mind. It was pretty good fun there too.
Mate, what's your plans moving forward? Obviously, a massive year this year. Like, is this just commit to another huge season next year?
Yeah, I think just with the work stuff and whatever, like quite a few years now, none of the seasons have been overly huge when it comes to racing all of the calendar. But I think we just finish up this season, see what sort of needs to be done, see how the calendar comes out for next year, and then weigh up sort of what meetings and stuff we can test again for the next season, whether we sort of go after the Motorplex stuff again or look for, see how many shows we may get scheduled down there. And then, see what comes up for the over East stuff and Aussie title as well.
Mate, I know it's a massive effort to go over to these titles. Obviously, I think your old boy was there, Jared was there. Like, how good was the team over there to obviously do an engine swap and get you back out there and get you competitive in that feature?
Yeah, it was good, definitely good. Like, you can't do any of this sort of stuff on your own. It's just not possible with the amount of work, especially racing back-to-back nights and after practices and things like that. And then you throw in, I guess, a bit of extra work that you sort of weren't planning to do. Yeah, you definitely need these people because we're sort of lucky in a sense that it happened in the prelim A main. So then they gave us the night and the morning and stuff to get everything sorted again without missing a race. So we were able to take it back to the house we had over there, and we got it all stripped down, and they were able to get everything washed up and go over the car while I had the motor out. And we obviously did a bit of a swap and managed to make it there with plenty of time to spare.
What's an engine swap take in a Formula 500, like start to finish?
It depends how well you sort of set up for it. I've set my motors up this year on like quick connect fittings and things for coolant and all that kind of stuff. So it definitely helps. But I could do one on my own in probably, I don't know, maybe like 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, right. That's pretty quick. I didn't think it'd be that quick.
Yeah, it's not too bad once they're set up. Now ultimately these majority of cars probably only got 4 or 5 bolts that hold them in general. And then, depending on if you've got your injection and everything set up on spare motors and headers and everything all ready to go, it could be a pretty quick swap in probably under half an hour if you had a couple of people, that knew what they were doing on it.
Awesome. All right, well, we would have loved to get it. Where were you on the Nullarbor last week, eh?
When seeing your message come through, we were cruising back through and trying to get through to Kimber that night because we'd sort of left a little bit later in the morning to head back. So I was just trying to push through to Kimber and keep ourselves on schedule and get back to Perth in time and give us enough time again to get everything cleaned up and unloaded and before I had to head back to work.
Awesome, mate. Thanks for your time. I know you had a big day. Not the best one to get you on the first day back. Where are you? The Pilbara, Goldfields? Where are you?
Yeah, up in the Pilbara.
Oh, she hot?
Yep. It is very warm today, yep, for the last 15 years or so. So
Done.
acclimatised now, but yeah, all good.
All right, cheers, mate. Appreciate your time.
Yep, no worries. Thank you.
Catch up.
See ya.
Stephen Ellement, 14 to 15 in the Aussie title. Yeah, he's obviously a ripper fella. Drives the wheels off of it, but yeah, it just probably goes to show there with the Pilbara, like you see the cars and the trailers down the track, but like that's what goes into getting them out there. Like he's straight back into Perth and straight back up to site. Like everyone that rolls a car out onto the track, they put in a phenomenal amount of time and effort to earn the money and to build these cars. So yeah, a little bit off topic with the Formula 500s tonight. Probably the most I've spoke about a Formula 500, I reckon, on this pod. But we will jump straight into our next pod. We got interviews everywhere tonight. Yeah, like I said, I really like talking to the crew chiefs, and like based on my sort of not my feedback on my numbers, the crew chiefs are clearly the most popular podcasts that I do. People seem to love them, and I'm not sure why, but the drivers sort of don't generally go ballistic in terms of listens. So yeah, Liam and Caden did one earlier this year, and obviously really well received. And Liam's got the crazy story about how he just flew to America, and once he landed in America, he started calling some people up. So we're going to touch base with the crew chief for the Dan Golding Racing, Liam Spiccia, now to sort of talk about the weekend and talk about what they did to sort of change their fortune to get the win on the weekend. Yeah, I've got some stuff I want to see, just exactly what sort of happened for them for this year. And yeah, on the line we got the man himself, Liam Spiccia. How are you, mate?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, really good, really good. Congrats on the win on the weekend, mate.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Bit of a pressure relief, stoked. Like, how did that sort of sit with you and the boys?
Yeah, I mean, just another race. I mean, obviously good to get a win and just haven't won one since so always good to get a win, and boys have been working real hard. So a little bit of pressure relief, but not too much.
With that track getting prepped the way it was, is that something you expected? Did you have to make any changes once you've seen what they actually did to the track?
Yeah, just made a couple of little changes right there at the end, right as we pushed out, because didn't expect them to rip it again before we went out. Thought maybe after they ripped it the first time, I think it was maybe even before the dashes they prepped it the first time. I thought that might have been it. So kind of prepared for them to leave it, and then they made a couple of small changes there just to tune up for all out there.
How close do you reckon you had the car?
Hard to say. I mean, once you kind of get to racing at the same track a bit, and you kind of, I would say the biggest difference is just reading the track and adjusting for it. And I think that race is probably won, by the driver who does the best job in lap traffic there. I mean, once it stayed green for a bit and they got to racing, it was a pretty good race and could have gone either way. Just depend on which car sort of zigged or zagged at the right time. And luckily, Caden got it done.
Obviously, you started the year really fast, went over east, you're really fast. Do you feel like, not like it's been bad results, but the results haven't been quite where they have been in the sort of the last month? Is that your read on it? Is there anything you can put your finger on that what might have pointed to that? And then is there anything you've done to turn it around?
Yeah, that would be our read on it. And we kind of spoke about that leading into the weekend, and we haven't been happy with how we've been running since we came back from over east, and we were happy with how we ran over east and obviously prior to that, and nothing major either. And, just a couple of little things didn't go our way. Got, knocked a tire off a bead running inside the top 5 at the Cricky Boys and ran out of fuel running 3rd at the Barbagallo race. So like a couple of small things that's like maybe some half decent results that didn't, which at the end of the day, if they're not on the score sheet, then they don't count. But, just some small things, but a couple of things that we needed to tidy up and a couple of things that we kind of changed in the program after coming back that we needed to kind of just get acclimated with. And went and tested there after Geraldton and just kind of just always searching, and you've always got to be searching, and the sport's, always evolving. So a little happier with the program after the weekend and back with some speed that, gives them the chance to go and win.
I'm glad you brought that up, mate. It's something I have in my notes. that last Wednesday night practice, if I'm honest, I could not believe that yourself was there, Callum Winston was there, and Dane Kingshot was there. I was like, the season's nearly done. It's a Wednesday night. There's only 2 more races for the season, and these boys are still here trying to get faster and trying to get better. Like, is that just standard for you boys? Like, I was really impressed to see you 3 there, and not just going for the motions. You boys were all really working on your cars to try and get a better package.
Yeah, I mean, I can only speak for what we did, but on the, I guess, Geraldton, the way it raced on the long weekend, you're not home till sort of midday Monday or maybe later. And I said to the boys, I think we should go and test. It wasn't really on my cards. And I said, I think we should go and test on Wednesday. There's a couple of things I think we should try before we, go and race here. There's a couple of races left and, good chance to test and see if we have a bit more speed or a bit more comfortable. And they kind of looked at me like I was crazy. But yeah, we went and tested and we rolled in there, and sure enough, the 2 and the 3 were both already there. And I think that's just the level that it's at, and it just shows you how hard everyone's pushing to get better. And that's the sort of time commitment and resources that you have to put into it if you want to run with those guys.
Yeah, exactly. Like what is it like rolling in? You're seeing them, and you just be like, shit, they're getting better too.
To be fair, when I kind of, I thought, geez, we can go down there and test, and you're only really worried about your own program, but you're kind of thinking, we'll go and get some laps that no one else is going to get, and any advantage you can get at this point is something you'll take, and you roll in there and you see them, and in the back of your head you're like, well, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
It's just the level that it's at, and those guys want to win just as bad, so everyone's there, trying to achieve the same thing.
Yeah, obviously, lights out fast, round 1 of the year. How has the package developed since the start of the year? Like, is it even close? Have you only just tweaked it a little bit? Like, how much has the development in the car changed?
It's pretty close. Yeah, it hasn't changed a whole lot. You obviously, I think going over East was really good for us. As much as the tracks are different, you learn about your car and the different feels and different things that you're trying to achieve on the racetrack. And then, obviously racing over Christmas here, and even, come back in those 5 races, still like a couple of Americans here and all that, and the track obviously generally starts a little faster to start the season and loses grip as the year goes on. So you have to evolve and change, and still pretty close, but just little things along the way. And for us, I mean, first time, me and Caden have worked together with the sprint car stuff. So kind of just evolving kind of what he wants to feel and what I think the car needs to do, and bringing those things together is what we've kind of been doing over the last few weeks.
And how has that relationship formed? Like, I know you obviously do the midget stuff. Is sort of the terminology that you use the same, or have you guys sort of had to get on the same page with that?
It's been pretty good. It helped that we have raced together quite a bit before with the midget stuff, and we'll go backwards and forwards, and generally, whatever he thinks, I'm already thinking, or somewhere along those lines. And we don't get too far into it. And sometimes randomly during the week I'll see a message pop up, hey, go watch the heat race again. What do you think about this? Or what do you think about this halfway during the feature? Or should we have made, maybe we should have been like this, or I need to feel this more, go watch this race again. And I'll go and do it and kind of just reconsider and look at the notes. And and the more races you get and the more you talk about things, and with the rest of the boys as well, you can definitely hopefully get on a good pathway and try and get yourself near the front.
Mate, if I'm honest, I didn't know how Caden was going to go. I don't know why, but I was just happened to look up, and he was walking his gear bag into the pits. He's hit the curb and dropped the gear bag and nearly fell over. I was like, oh no, he's not on tonight.
Yeah, that's a shocking start, but nothing unusual from him really.
With the win towards the end of the season, is it like, you guys have obviously put in a mountain of effort, and when we see sprint cars on a Saturday night, but I know it's a full-time job for you. Like you said, you're home on Monday, you're back to the track Wednesday, which means you would have had to wash up Thursday to be ready to come back Saturday. Are you sort of looking to get to the end of the season, or are you still fresh? Like, how do you feel mentally?
I mean, you go through different stages. I would say, you come back from over East, and I think apart from the week off, was it before Geraldton or whatever, I think we'd raced, doing the midget stuff and everything as well. I think we raced every weekend from the middle of October through till the end of February. Like, we had one weekend off. But sometimes I think you get on a bit of a run of nights that you're not happy with, and that can be a little draining. But you get some good results, and I don't really want the season to end. I want to keep racing and keep building on the package. And we only at the end of the day, 30 or 35 races is where we'll end up, and it's still not that much. And yeah, once you're racing, you just want to keep going and keep building on things and build some momentum.
What's the boss man bringing the speed car out for the last night or what? What's he up to?
I don't know what the plans are with the midget sitting in the corner there right now. It's it's kind of done its work for the year at this point, and we had some good runs with it. I'm not sure what the plans are with that, but for right now, I don't know. She's tucked away in the corner, all serviced up, sitting pretty.
So what's your mentality then? Grand final night. Obviously, there's a race to win. Have you secured third in the championships effectively? Like, where does the point sit? Do you know?
No idea. I think with third, I don't know how it sits with the cars around us.
Does that matter to you, or is it just win or whatever?
Lost. Yeah, it does and it doesn't. It kind of. We really just went into the year looking to win some races and build the team and build some momentum and build on the package, and then look to hopefully go for another year. So going into grand final night, you're just looking to go there and try and win the race, hopefully, and wherever the points play out, they play out. So yeah, it's just another night, and you're just trying to go there and win the race and look at your notes from last time and see what the track's doing, and hopefully it plays out well.
You got any plans for the off season?
Nothing exciting personally this year. Probably just got a lot of plans of spending a bunch of time in the shop and just working on things and trying to get things better. Maybe a little shop work and some exciting things for next year already kind of in the works. So yeah, just head down and a couple of rainy days in the shop and just look forward to getting to racing again next season.
Awesome, mate. Well, yeah, good luck. I'll see you no doubt before grand final night, mate. But yeah, regardless of how that night turns out, mate, I think it's been a massive success, and yeah, probably you would look to see you guys improve sort of the most next year, and so it's exciting to see that. And yeah, wish you all the best.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate your time.
Cheers, mate. Have a good one. Wait, is Caden taking his mum out for birthday or what?
Oh, you'd hope so.
Yeah.
Can't not take your mum out for her birthday, so you'd hope he's taking her out for dinner. He'd probably make her pay at the end, though.
Done. See you, mate.
See you, mate.
See out. Ellen Spiccia, ripper fella. Yeah, really, really good fella. And from one legend to another. You got the young gun of sort of late models in Western Australia, and sort of started the year and wasn't bad, but wasn't flash, and sort of the improvement that Beau Oldfield has made in the late models has been phenomenal. We'll get him on the line here, and again, I apologise for actually ringing. I just don't know how to do that, but yeah, on the line we got Beau Oldfield. How are you, mate?
Good yourself, mate?
Yeah, pretty steady, mate. Did you have to recover from that race at all, or how was it? Was it hard to do the 100?
No, I find it pretty easy. It was the track were wide enough, so you didn't really have to beat up yourself for the car. So I found it pretty easy at the end. It wasn't even puffed. So yeah, I'm ready to do the next one.
You just get used to it and just start ticking them off?
Yeah, pretty much. And the cautions each time, there was 10 laps gone, so it made it a little bit easier.
Are you happy with fifth, mate? Do you feel like you left anything out there?
Yeah, well, we got up to fourth, and we were a bit better at the first 50, but just inexperience got the better of me, and I spun the tyres at the restart trying to warm them up and missed the first corner after the 50 lapper. So that set me back to about ninth or something. But no, I think we're pretty happy with that. It's my first year racing late models.
With that, mate, you obviously, like I said, you weren't bad at the start of the year, but the progression, has it been as steep as what you want? Are you looking to get more of it out of yourself, or do you look back already and think it's been okay for your first season?
It's definitely been more than okay for the first season.
Yep.
We've we showed a lot of pace earlier on around that January period, so it was pretty cool to have that. But yeah, just even in February, having that ticking off that first win at Kalgoorlie, that was pretty cool. I definitely didn't expect that. And then, I mean, this March, it was very tough. Having a crate motor, trying to do qualifying and doing all these heat races on a hooked up track. It was kind of tough to move forward and get good results when that was probably the time I really wanted to get good results with everyone there. But no, definitely over the moon with it all. It's been awesome.
What about the prep for 100 laps, mate? Obviously, what's the most you've done before this, 30?
Yeah, 30.
So, like in terms of your car, did you have to change much? Was it just literally tyres and fuel? Like, is that the only real changes you had to make to the car to make sure it got the 100 laps in?
Yeah, there's a couple little things you probably just want to keep a little bit free, otherwise you're doing 50 laps tight. So it was just making sure that you had a 3.5 car, no matter what Moplex dished up for us. I mean, in Jamie's case, he was too tight, so he didn't even want to fight it for the rest. So he just pulled off.
Was it that tight?
Yeah, he reckons he was. I mean, I passed him, I think, about 6 laps in, and I was probably still in 13th by then. So, yeah, I was like, oh, this is not good for him. But, nah, I think you just had to be smart enough and making sure you didn't beat up on yourself just in those early stages, because I don't reckon I was even finding it hard, but I was still licking my lips trying to put some moisture back in.
With that, mate, the sort of the narrative from afar would have been like you're going to have to try and manage your race and blah, blah, blah for 100. But like I was like, you're racing though. Like how are you going to race steady? Like what did you have? Were you just 95% the whole race? Like what sort of the first 50? How hard were you truly going?
I think pretty hard, because you just want to set yourself up for the next 50 pretty well. And I don't use much of the throttle anyway, just the way I drive. I don't like beating up on the motor sort of deal. But I definitely could have gone harder, so I know that. But yeah, it was just making sure I didn't hit anyone or get in the way of anyone and making sure I hit my marks. That was really all that you had to focus on then, and just make sure you had enough in the tank for when you need to make a move or something.
Was that track better than what you thought it was going to be?
Well, I didn't expect it to throw up so much mud on the track.
Yeah.
Well, I was expecting it to go pretty slick, but yeah, it just kept throwing mud up. And I mean, you look at Warren Rockets and my times, where our fastest laps were just before that 50 lap. So yeah, I didn't expect it to be as fast as it was, and it definitely caught me out towards the end. But yeah, it was definitely different for us.
Mate, I need two things here. If you could go back before that race and change two things, one on the car and sort of one maybe decision or driving thing that you did, what's the two things you would change?
Oh, definitely at that 50 restart, just having experience on knowing how to keep a tyre warm under caution or extended caution. So the car, I don't really know, to be honest. You've put me on the spot there.
Nah. Who does do your car? Do you set it up? Who sets your car up for you?
Well, it's probably I haven't been so good lately, so I've been trying to do it myself. But yeah, it's kind of hard when the brain's your dad and you just want to figure it out yourself.
Was it an overwhelming success in your point of view? Is that like sort of the best race that you've been a part of in terms of the late models?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. Like, they had atmosphere, and it was cool to see the Eastern guys get good results. You know, it makes them want to come back next year, and hopefully it gets bigger. Like, yeah, it was awesome just to have so many people speak highly of it. And yeah, even just our team, you've seen how excited they were when Warren crossed the line. That shows how much passion we have for it.
Mate, that's one of the best photos that I've seen there, and I just feel like you wouldn't even dream of it ending the way it was. Like you can't have 100-lap race finishing like that. Like it was phenomenal, mate. I was watching it. Like everyone I know was watching it. The crowd stuck around. I feel like the late model club with their social media and the interviews that they're doing after the race, I feel like, yeah, late models is on the up, and everything they're doing is trying to match the sprint cars. And is it a wicked thing to be a part of?
Absolutely. We have really good committee supporting the late models and pushing us in the right directions. And not even that, we just have wicked drivers. A lot of drivers have put their own money up for us late models guys. So it's just awesome community to be a part of and racing against.
Mate, that Shane Clanton, is it the Georgia Bulldog? Is he like what's his sort of standing in America? Is he's like as good as you get?
He's huge. He's huge. He is huge. Like everyone knows how big Eldora is. Eldora is, the king of everything. That's the Super Bowl. And I'm pretty sure this year, I can't remember if it was the Dream or the World 100, he qualified off pole.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
that's a statement in itself. And then
Yep.
he's won a World 100 20 years ago, and he's still as competitive now. He owns a chassis company. Him and his co-owner were both here, so they both know what they're doing and definitely making sure they had the best car each night.
He run the bottom a whole lot. Have you had a chance to watch the race back?
Briefly, yeah. I just trying to see what I need to do myself on a track like that because, to be fair, I haven't had a hooked up Moplex track at all this season. So it's what caught me out most of the nights, just not knowing what to do on that stage. But yeah, the track widened up a lot just before that 50 lapper restart, just because all the dirt get thrown up to the middle. It actually made me move forward a lot doing that. I passed a couple of cars through the middle, which was pretty cool.
With that, mate, you would have watched, if you watched a little bit of that replay, for me trying to learn at the Motorplex, like I'm not up the front, so I'm barely on pay-per-view, so it's real hard to watch myself back. That drone footage, if I could pay like a subscription and they put a drone over top of the track for all those feature races and you could just follow yourself, how beneficial would that be? Like you could see a little bit of yourself in that feature race on that drone. Would you love that as well?
Absolutely. That was I'll go for that Speedway meetings most days just to see what he got, or even go through that rain leasing and just see what media he's got through it, just see how the car's going around the corner from a better perspective and a more clearer view. But yeah, that drone view, that would be awesome to use.
Mate, shout out to that Speedway memes actually. I actually see 50% more of myself watching his races back than I do on pay-per-view.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, same. So I'm always watching his just to see, because obviously pay-per-view doesn't get everything, so you try and see what he's got as well. Just obviously helps better yourself and everything else around it.
How many more races this year for you, Beau?
Well, I was planning to go to the Aussie title in Toowoomba, but wrecked a lot of gear during this March period. So just the 1 in 2 weeks, that'll be the grand final. We're sitting second in points for that. So looks like we'll lock that in.
Can he win?
It is doable, but it's just not realistic.
Just it's mathematically possible, is it?
Yeah. Joe's had a really good season. He's 40 points ahead, so pretty much if he rocks up, he's got it.
Easy. Well, yeah, thanks again for your time, mate. I think, the season as a whole, the 100 lap race was a ripper result, mate. Top 5 for that. You got to be stoked.
Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely coming into this year, you got no expectations, going from nothing to something. So, yeah, just to be out there, that's the biggest high of it all. And then the results that come with it, that's just a bonus.
Nah, sweet. All right, we'll see you down the track, mate.
Too easy, mate. Have a good one.
No worries. See you, mate. Bye.
Yeah.
Beau Oldfield. I feel like a lot of wins left for him. I think he's only pretty young, 18 or so. But yeah, I think I'll just quickly. I was out there for the speed car race. I feel like we touched base pretty good with that enough, and obviously the sprint cars is what we're probably all here for. Caden Manders, I feel like 2 weeks in a row. Like Caden won that race. He made better decisions through traffic, but I feel like Callum Williamson has every right to be a little bit dirty. Like, if these feature races were 20 lap long, he was gone. Like, his speed in the 26 at the moment, particularly in the last two, or he's only run the last 2 weeks, but on the wall, first sort of 10 laps, he's gone. Like, he looks that comfortable in that car, and he just, I've been up watching him 1 and 2 on the infield there, and he's just bricked. The whole 1 and 2 just bricked. It's seriously impressive to see, and I think he's had the fastest lap the last couple of weeks and looks really comfortable, and sort of started thinking, it does raise some questions with how good he is. Like, I know he runs his own program and that's ultra successful, but yeah, whether he looks to make maybe, I don't know, engine maybe. I'm not sure what he's comfortable with in the 26, but yeah, that package seems to work extremely well together. So it'd be interesting to see. Dane Kingshot, yeah, just worked his way forward. It looked like he just had to race his absolute guts out the whole time. Obviously, I think Chris Coyle had a few battles with. Dan Harding had a few battles. I've seen the crew boys weren't too stoked with how it worked out, but obviously no skin in the game with either team. With Trevor Jolly racing and Cricky, they're probably both pissed at each other and don't think I know what I'm talking about, which I probably don't. But it just looked like hard racing to me. And yeah, Dan probably, should be filthy, but I bet if Dane was fourth, then he has reasons to be filthy as well. So it is what it is, and Dane gets third and Dan gets fourth. So, but Dan, really good. He ran the bottom a lot. Like he changed his lines up. Trevor Jolly Racing, obviously Junior, has had that car absolutely flying in the last couple of weeks, probably since Geraldton. Like how they rolled out at Geraldton was phenomenal. Like that car looked really good. As good as AJ Nash's did at Silver Cup at the bottom, just looked like the best car out there. That's what Harding's looked like in Geraldton. It looked good the entire time, and they've obviously found something. I know Dan spoke about not being used to that right rear, and it's just taking him a little bit longer to get his head around that than what he wanted, and it looks like that might be the case. Chris Coyle, fifth. Yeah, raced real hard the whole night as well, and hammer down track, and he rips when it's like that, and maybe a few little errors here and there, and could make an argument he could be a little bit high up, but the arguments are sort of null and void because everyone finished where they finished. So yeah, I'm sure him and Jono and the boys be happy to just finish one, not come into the work area, and just sort of just put a good result up there, and put a little building block there for grand final night. And no doubt they'll come out swinging for that one. Jimmy Inglis, no expectations from him. I spoke to Stewie and Jimmy before the night. They sort of decided to race this, not last minute, but just do the last two races. And yeah, Jimmy said he has absolutely no expectations, but phenomenally fast all night. That's the best he's looked all year. He finishes in sixth. Like there was some nights there that he was hanging on for dear life for 18th. So I did say it the whole time as well. Like I believe in Jimmy. I think he's as talented as anyone out there, and for whatever reason hasn't been able to get the results that he is. But I feel like a massive step in the right direction. And yeah, he's been out of the seat since at least the Classic, I reckon. I think the Classic might have been his last time that he's jumped in. Maybe did the Aussie title. No, he wasn't at the Aussie title actually. So John McKenzie out of the Wingos has sort of been lights out in the wingless, and clearly is transferring it into some results for a budget team. I know they don't have the finances some other teams in the pits, and I hope, I don't know, that's not disrespectful, whatever, but that's just my view on it. Priority 8th, yeah, not where he wanted to be. He's been really good lately, and yeah, sort of not exactly sure. I haven't had a chance to have a chat with him, but yeah, to see where they're at. Like it's probably a good thing that I would expect Jason to be disappointed with an 8th, and I reckon at the start of the season he'd probably be happy with an 8th, and now coming to the back end of the season to be disappointed with an 8th, it's probably a good sign. Cam McKenzie again blew a tyre out on the way, and think he went over as well, and he's the hard charger for the night, plus 13, went 22nd and 9th, ripped the top, sort of back to the speed that he had coming into sort of high limit and stuff like that when he was winning mid packs and things like that. I know they tore some equipment up and hasn't sort of been the same, but him and Army obviously put their heads together and got to work on the car. Chad Pittard, a 10th, didn't really notice him all night, if I'm honest. Yeah, but yeah, a top 10 for him again. He'd be happy with that. AJ Nash, I'm assuming there'd just be an element of disappointment after winning the last round, and to now, come out of 10th and finish 11th. There would just inevitably be a little bit of disappointment in the result, even though it's probably not that bad of a drive, and yeah, a bit of a trickier track for them. And 11th. The Worm Wagon, T Millie, obviously not the lead up that he would have liked leading into the Kalgoorlie round this weekend. But they had some bad luck, and he obviously, I think, did a tyre, right rear tyre, got into the wall in the main straight, and yeah, Beau obviously swinging off the spanners and tidied that thing up, and yeah, come back to a 12th place, and I think he was a little bit higher than that before he did have to go back. So not won't be stoked with it, but whatever he'll take it, and then the King of Kalgoorlie will no doubt come out on a big parade and through the main street, Hannon Street. They'll be throwing streamers and stuff for that for the big fella, but he'll sort of. Hopefully, everyone gets out and supports Kalgoorlie as well. So I don't know. One, if you listen to this, and two, if you're on the fence as either a fan or a driver, like. Yeah, the bloke's done 22 trips to Perth this year. Like, you would hope that some people can do one out to Kalgoorlie, but we'll wait and see. Hopefully the numbers are decent. I think it'll be a good event, and hopefully it's well supported from inside and outside the fence. Cody Nash sent to the rear, starts 15th. They had some car issues from the first week, which sort of explains what. The result that he had and sort of how he looked on track. He's better than that, and he's 13th in this, and I think he's better than that again. So, yeah, I think he should be he'll be expecting more, but yeah, around that 10th is sort of where he needs to be. So he's there or thereabouts, but he'll want better. I sort of expect better from him as well. I think he's as good as anyone out there for the experience that he's got. JD Dack off his 360 win the night prior, 14th. Sort of, yeah, again, he's had a lot better results in previous seasons. So I know they tried everything up in Darwin. He's been in the seat plenty, and they're obviously just looking for something, and he's not quite comfortable. Cody Clayton, Whole on Motorsports, Cody's a ripper, wingless graduate. I think that's his personal best for the year in a 15th and to beat some cars, and he actually looked racy. So, yeah, it looked like he was sort of attacking the track, which would be difficult in your first season when you're trying to find your way around, stay out of the leader's way. It looked like he could finally sort of get into it and attack the track. Brad Mayolo, just not sure. He won a race last year. Yeah, looked decent early, and yeah, for whatever reason, just results haven't been what I would expect from the LJM team. And I know Pete Hayporn's as good as anyone on the tools, so yeah, no doubt they'll be scratching their head and they'll be going to work for grand final night to try and throw something at it. Craig Botchell, 17th. Tom Hooper, the Meriden Freight Line, 79. Good. Miles Bolger. I actually can't remember why Miles pulled in, but he pulled in. I should know. I'm on the crew, but yeah, I'm not sure. I know he knocked the ladder out of it. She was a bit of a handful. Maybe the spring on the throttle fell off as well, and he was wheeling that thing around. I think he got up to 11th at some stage. He was one of the only ones that could sort of make the bottom work, and yeah, we did speak. Maybe it was because the ladder was out of it and it was just leaning over, and he sort of could get that thing over on the right rear and get off the bottom pretty good. His lap times are decent, and yeah, like I said, got up to 11th at some stage. So yeah, a few things to work on for the Bulge, but we'll rip it out to Kalgoorlie and have a crack and see what we can do out there. One of the bloody coolest things, mate, the current leader of the supercars is racing sprint cars at the Motorplex. Brody Kostecki obviously lives over east now from here, but flies back on his off weekends just to race at the Perth Motorplex. It speaks volumes of the facility, because I can promise you if it was like a dirt shithole, like, it wouldn't be here. So just a testament to the Motorplex and the team to put that together. I know Jeff Kendrick's obviously got a fair bit to do with that deal, and yeah, just Jeff sort of can make things work, and to get the current supercars leader here and to beat, I don't know, I would assume it's a teammate, Jason Kendrick, by spot technically, even though they're both DNF. Stoked with him. Jack Williamson, spoke about Big Dog last week. Obviously, Jack is talented. I have no doubts about that. I feel like with Big Dog, Tommy Britton on the tools, I think Big Dog's got a serious set of skills on him, and yeah, I sent him a little message to say I hope this sort of something that becomes a little bit more permanent, because I feel like it's a pretty good combination, and Jacko's sort of battling for podiums and stuff like that, and looks really racy, and looks like he's really confident in the car. Mikey Green, unlucky, tore that thing up. Someone just sort of got spun in front of him, and he did it sort of nothing wrong, and ends up going over, just getting caught up with some stuff. But yeah, not great for Mikey. Obviously, Joshua Grizzly's on the tools of that as well, and yeah, not great for him. Brooke Newson obviously had a big lick and went over. Declan Minchin got into her in that. Like, I've listened to the interviews and stuff. Like, when I watch her back on Clay per view, it just Declan's in front for, like, as they enter 3. So yeah, unfortunate that it came to that, but yeah, I don't think Declan did much wrong there. Like, he's in front and he moves up pretty close, and yeah, he was always going to the wall, and yeah, sometimes these things happen, but yeah, not a great result for either of those guys. Harrison P, can't remember what happened to him. It didn't look like any damage, and yeah, that's it. Not really, really sure. I hope everyone sort of can get out to Kalgoorlie. Hopefully it's a ripper event. I know that these clubs like Kalgoorlie have to outlay a fair chunk of coin to get a series like the Maddington out there, and you know, like if it's not well supported, it can really hurt these clubs financially. So hopefully there's a few trucks going down the road. I'd suggest fill up in Perth because fucking hell, the price of diesel's getting out of control. So yeah, we'll look forward to it. We'll be out in Kalgoorlie. I'll get my mullet cut in because I think you need one to get into the speedway. I think it's a requirement. So we'll have a mullet ready to rock. I've got my overalls ready, and we'll see you out there. Another episode done of the Work Area Podcast. I was going to call my man the Rose Show, but like I said, I gave him a tune up, and he's dirtied up on me. But he knows it's 2-1. We've raced 3 times. I'll beat him twice. Once at Gas Dash and once on the weekend. So, gotcha, Rowie. See you guys.